James Cleveland called ordinary people. I'm talking about the magnificent ones on the block, on the corner, in the churches, in the mosques, in the temples, in the club, who hold up a blood-stained banner. And it is up for us in 2023, in this moment of such grimness and dimness, where organized greed and institutionalized hatred and routinized indifference to the suffering of the vulnerable looks like it's in place, we simply say, at the top, you think you're mighty, but you're not almighty. You think you're in place forever, but we want you to know you're in time and history, and sooner or later, every lie will come to an end. Truth crushed to earth will rise again, and the condition of truth is always to allow suffering to speak. So that anytime we speak, anytime we organize, anytime we are present, let us never, ever forget that we come from a great people. We come from a world historical people. Nobody in 400 years has been hated like black people, and yet we teach the world so much about love and what love is, producing love warriors every generation. And even if those love warriors have to undergo character assassination or literal assassination or be misunderstood and misconstrued or pushed to the margins, we still stand tall. We straighten our backs up. That's what Operation Power is all about. And that's why the endorsement of this organization means the world to me. It's like Sam Cooke or Sly Stone or Curtis Mayfield. They never won a Grammy. Billy Vanilli won 2.
Come on now, sing it.
Who cares about a Grammy? The question is, when you are endorsed by Louis Armstrong, John Coltrane, Luther Vandross, and Aretha Franklin, you don't need a Grammy, because the standards that you are representing represent the best not just of a people, but of the human spirit, the human species. There's never been a people who've been traumatized like black people and yet keep producing wounded healers every generation. Never been terrorized and produced freedom fighters for everybody. So on a personal note, see, I come from Irene and Clifton West. That's mom and dad. I'll never be the human beings they were. I come out of Shiloh Baptist Church of Willie P. Cook and Deacon Hinton and Sarah Ray was my vacation Bible school teacher. You all don't know it, but they reside in me. I come out working with the Black Panther Party right next door of Shiloh Baptist Church, tied to prison programs and tied to the breakfast programs. How come? Well, I had Jesus, they had the movement, we came together. We may not agree on God, but we agree on loving the people. And it's true when we got to Reverend Daltrey's church. House of the Lord Pentecostal Church, 415 Atlantic Avenue, 5961991 is the phone number.
You sing that, go ahead now.
And we were there for many years. Brother Charles and I used to travel the country when he had his leadership institute. And here we are now, 40-some years later, doing what? Still here, telling the truth, pursuing justice, and we fallible, we got faults, we ain't acting like we pure pristine.
It's all right, come on now.
We'd like to keep it funky. We don't believe in sanitized, sterilized, and deodorized discourses.
Make it funky now.
When you make it funky, you keep it real. When you keep it real, you keep it raw. When you keep it raw, you keep it soulful. And soul ain't nothing but the sharing of a soul in sweetness against the backdrop of a grim catastrophe.
Fire now.
Oh, we are soulful people.
Come on now.
And when you're soulful, you're truthful. When you're truthful, you're willing to sacrifice. When you're willing to sacrifice, you're willing to serve something bigger than you.
Yes.
I learned in Shiloh Baptist Church, if the kingdom of God is within you, then everywhere you go, you ought to leave a little heaven behind.
Come on now, come on.
Oh, Operation Power leave heaven behind. And I'm just glad that I'm part of this cloud of witnesses, so when it spills over at the highest level,
Go on now, go ahead.
going on to the White House.
Yeah.
A White House built by enslaved Africans. And I told my wife, God bless her, I said, if and when I win, I'm not going into the White House till everybody has a house. I want to abolish homelessness, unhousedness. I don't want anybody walking the streets as if they don't have access to shelter.
Yeah.
When I heard Martin Luther King Jr. call for the abolition of poverty, that's my tradition. I don't want no liberal version of poverty or conservative version of poverty. Is this every poor person doesn't have the same value and the same significance.
Yes. Come on now.
And the same is true in militarism. Looking at TV every day and seeing a genocide, as if a Palestinian baby doesn't have the same value as a baby in Brooklyn, or a baby in Jamaica, or a baby in Haiti, or a baby in Brazil, or a baby in Moscow. So many of these milquetoast leaders, so well adjusted to injustice and well adapted to indifference and so willing to accommodate themselves to the status quo, can't say a mumbling word about what's going on in Gaza right now.
Read.
And if you do, they call you anti-Semitic. I say, let me tell you something right now. I will never, in a million years, sell any oppressed people down the river because I'm scared and intimidated. And we got too many leaders, got too many black leaders running around laughing when it ain't funny and scratching when it don't itch and scared and intimidated and don't want to tell the truth about power, Wall Street, Pentagon, militarism. 57 cents for every $1 goes through the military. How you gonna have resources for health care for everybody? Ought to be free. Education for everybody ought to be free. Quality housing. Everybody ought to have access to it. But as soon as you go to war, you find billions and billions and billions of dollars. That's a key sweat moment. Something just ain't right. We have priorities, and we don't have enough voices. Operation Power raises their voices, and I'm blessed to be part of this cloud of witness, part of this choir in raising my voice. And you can never, ever do it by yourself. You can't do it alone. When you raise your voice, you bring back the voices of those who have gone before the ancestors. Here come Harriet Tubman. Here come Frederick Douglass. Here come A. Philip Randolph. Here come Marcus Garvey. Here come Henry Newton. Here come a whole host of voices through us.
Yes.
And then we listen to the voices of the young people. Oh, we need to be examples of moral and spiritual integrity and courage to our young folk. They see so many celebrities out here who are so milquetoast, obsessed with things and possessions rather than willing to sacrifice. What kind of examples will we leave for the precious younger generation? And then, last but not least, there's a spiritual issue. Because when you're talking about politics and when you're in politics, if all you are is concerned about politics, you're going to end up selling your soul for a mess of pottage. You better have your soul intact. You better have the right spirit. And if you don't have your soul and spirit intact, you're going to end up manipulated by the status quo. And the only way you keep your soul and spirit intact is to have some kind of faith that's bigger than you. I'm a revolutionary Christian. I don't exist without Malcolm X. He was a Muslim. I don't exist without Bell Hooks. She was Buddhist. I don't exist without James Baldwin. He was agnostic. I certainly don't exist without John Coltrane's Love Supreme. And nobody knows what he was, or Sun Ra, or other geniuses. But they part of the same tradition. They had their souls intact. They had a calling. They had a vocation. They knew what it meant to zero in on what they were called to do in order to serve the people. That's what it means to have your soul intact. That's why when I get close to the barons, I know I'm in the right place. Oh, yes.